Yeah, you're welcome to the Benin Empire Advancement League, the home of all the Benins. Uh, Before I start, I want to use this medium and this opportunity to thank all the Edos, all the Benin people that went to the airport to welcome our Reverend Father, our monarch, our God representative on earth, the Omonoba of Benin, back to Benin City. Uh, I would say great job to those of you who stand out there 2 days to welcome the Omonoba Nedo to the ancient city of Benin City. There's no word to describe what happened that very day. We made history that very day, and this is not clear to many people. Never had before a crowd so gathered to welcome back a royal father back to the Benin City, back to the ancient city of Benin City. I say thank you all and I bow for you all for what you people did that very day. It was marvelous. It was great to say the fact. Yeah, before I come uh, to the topic why I'm here, let me just say this to everyone. Waya wawesi, binu waya ya mudiave, medere, bediva, wano, and the bediva ni egion imaba, ihua okuse, egogo, iya, iya, ya we, agmoya we, ivie domahi, ivie Nebotie Benin emahi because Benin ni ona agbo here obi kahin obi robokin obi no kahin okpa emaya ihin so we're here West Vedero. Thank everyone very very much for going out there to welcome our Reverend Father back to Benin City. You see, I will not say enemy because I don't use the word enemy because for me I don't have enemies. If you want to be my enemy, that is your problem. But I don't see you as an enemy. I see you as a person who has another view of what is currently going on. You see, the energy of that very day, of those 2 days, can be brought forward to unite our people because this is very important. They may have different view and of what is going on right now or currently going on. But we should remember because there's the future. I believe the future belongs to the Edo people because if we continue the way we are right now, I believe the future belongs to the Edo people in a way that nobody can push us aside any longer. No governor or no commissioner or no minister or no head of state or no president can push us aside if we continue with this energy because we are just the people whom we say we are. We never claim to be another uh, another ethnic group or something like that. Why people are trying to start changing our traditional institution. You see, the traditional institution or the Benin traditional institution was created very long ago, thousands of years, and we have been in this tradition for these thousands of years with up and down, but everything still remain the same. That is to tell you how resilient the Benin are or the Edos are. And right now, what is currently going on, people are using this opportunity of the outfall of some Edos and the governor or the government of Edo State right now to be using this opportunity to say, I am this, I am that. But I want everyone to remember who they really are because whom we are the Edos. And the Edos are very, very resilient people. They are very, very respectful people, but we don't submit to any oppression. That should be clear to anybody. Why I'm saying this? Because the event of the past few months and the past few days have showed to us, must have showed to people that we, as Edo people, we respect each other much more than people may be thinking. But I want to put this to people's knowledge that even though that respect, that should not stop us from saying what we believe on or what we think is perfect for the Edo people. Because only the Edo people can choose, or the Benins can choose what is good for them and what is not good for them. You see, before the coming of the British to the ancient city of Benin, before the destruction and I will not use that word capture, uh, and all they did to us. The British was and some chiefs in Benin were thinking that we will go into extinct, that we will never recover of what happened those very days. But people have now come to this knowledge to say, okay, the Benin, they are always there. They are always there. There has been a time, for example, the time of Oba Ewakbe. The Benin also have some up and down in those days, but we succeeded in coming back to life again because I always say this: we are seed, and this is some of the reason why I'm always saying that we are seed. We regenerate when the rain falls. And then when the British came, the same. They thought they succeeded. They succeeded in pushing us to grave, but for their own understanding, they only succeeded for a few years. And then after a few years, then we started coming back. We're coming back and to reclaim what belongs to us. And I believe what is currently going on will come and it will pass without anything really change because we cannot change the history of other people. Because this government we are seeing, because we are seeing today, they are aliens to us. This is not the government our forefathers and our fathers relied on. And nobody in Nigeria today relies on this government because the loss of trust to this government is a little bit bigger as people may be thinking. People will choose, like in our own state, in Edo State, I believe up to 75%, 80% of our people will choose our traditional institution before the alien government that was imposed on us after the invasion. You see, the government officials, they don't learn. They don't learn in the sense that there have been a lot of, uh, let me say, a lot of try. They tried to make sure they succeed in dealing with the Benin traditional institution. Many of them failed woefully, and they are going to still be failing in the future if we unite and come together. You see, I've always said this by their words and by their actions, we shall know them. And right now, I can tell you that some of them are really now showing their true colors against our own traditional institutions. Because look at what is going on in the social media. When people come in the social media, they praise the Oba of Benin, talk every heaven and earth, and they end it with Oba Atokbe. Oba Atokbe is said, I will say that, and more till I die. You see, some of them are just bare mouth from these people because I have been watching so many of them because people have always asked me, why don't you join all this Benin organization and this and that? I've always said this. Not everybody that say Oba Atokbe really believe in our traditional institution. Not everybody that say he's an Edo man that really has the mind to be an Edo person. And most of them, I saw them in action before. and I know very well what they are doing and what they are not doing. That is why I'm not joining any other organization. Although people put my name into so many organizations, but I always watch at also, okay, since I'm an Edo person, not people to be saying he does make up with Edo people, this and that. That is why sometimes I join this organization, their group, their WhatsApp group, and all that. But as you all know, I also have my own organization. And my own organization, or the organization which I'm the president, has its own view of what is going on. And we always stand with the truth and to say the truth, but nothing but the truth. Like it or not, like it or not, we, the Edos, we have failed in so many fronts as well. We have to accept this. Because this law or this amendment that's the governor is trying to put on place has been there for so many years, has been there for more than 30 years, if not 40 years. But why did we fail? Why did we fail to amend or to re-amend this law before this very day? Because this is also a failure from our own side. Because it doesn't need too much to do such a thing. You need the approval of our Monoba of Benin and the approval of the Benin Traditional Council. And those of them that are elected into the House of Assembly or the Parliament of our state. They have the right to do this, and they can do this. But we fail to bringing this forward. I also believe now, this is also the moment we now see where we fail and do some corrections. We have to do this correction in order to avoid such a situation we are right now in the future. And for our children's children, to follow our footsteps, because otherwise this conflict is still going to be coming up. Because my own opinion, we failed. And we should recognize the failure or the mistake we made to date and make some corrections after the departing of this present governor or this present government, because there's a possibility that we can do that in the next government that is coming. If possible, we can also have a referendum for that. We can have a referendum for that. And at the same time, we can also have a referendum for an autonomous Edo people or Benin people state. Something like the Midwest before. We should be thinking about this because Edo, as an oil producing and gas producing state, is really lacking in so many areas. We don't see it important to really position ourselves and position the Edo people or the Benin, whether you're Esan, Robo, Ika, or we all are one. We have to position ourselves to also have something that is really going out from our state. Because is this what is going out from our state that are being used to develop other states? Now, our Oba has been doing a very great job. There's nothing to say about that. But I will also expect the Edo people to do their own side of it because the Oba represent us. We are the Obas, and Oba is also us. The Oba used the power we give to him to do what he's doing. He's doing everything on our behalf. And we, the Edo people, should also be going out there doing things in accordance on behalf of the Oba of Benin. To put things in place. You see, it's not just about power. Power, you come into power, you leave the power. And another person will pick up the power, the space you left behind. And for that person to pick that space, you have to do some grand job. for that person to have it easier when it's coming into power. And this is what the Edo people should be doing. The Benin Traditional Council should also be doing to modernize, to amend what they are trying now to present to us and telling us this is what we have to accept. We are not going to accept this. We are not going to accept this in the sense that this is not what made us. What made us is what our ancestors has been following right from the birth of the Benin nation, right from the time of Owerri, Edion, Ogiso, and now the Obaship or the Oba dynasty. So let us be focusing as Edo people, focusing on how we can remove this barrier that is blocking our way. You see, politics is one thing and tradition is another thing. A politician cannot impose himself on us because we are more than politics. We are more than the politician. We are more than the government that is being imposed by us by the colonial power. Most of our educated allies, and I will always repeat this and I will say this, some of them is one of the people that is really, really letting us down when it comes to the issue of tradition. Our tradition and the modern day democracy have nothing in common. They have nothing in common in the sense the democracy is a corrupt government. It is demonstration of craziness, the demonstration of abuse of power, the demonstration of abuse of these people. So the demonstration of institutional failure. You see, when the white people, when they know they were failing, they started renaming democracy. They started using the word like federalism, capitalism, socialism, and all those sort of words when they know fully they failed already. But our own has been existing thousands of years. The names have never changed. Has never changed for once. It remains steady. That is very, very important for the Edo people and for the development of our people. Once we know this, then we will know peace. We will know peace because we can see what is really going on today, how all these people have tried to mix into what they doesn't understand. Sorry, I have to do that. So if you understand something and work with that something, work with those experience, then you will understand that there's something really moving. Like the present day government we have been seeing. You know, I used to praise the government of Governor Obaseki for some projects they achieve, and but we shouldn't make mistake. When they come to my tradition, I don't play with it. When they come to the issue of the Benin Traditional Council and the palace and the Omonoba of Benin, I don't play with it. Anybody, no matter whom you are, trying to insult or to impose anything on us, then I will stand on your way, like it or not. You see, the demonstration of some of our people in the social media and other areas have shown that there are people who doesn't really understand what they are doing. Who doesn't really understand what they are doing? Because now you said you want to change something. Something you did not invent or invented. How can you change something you did not invent? That is a copyright breach. Now, think about it. If the palace is coming to say he wants to change the government of Edo State, what will you say? What would you think? You see, when you are using some set of criminal, oh, sorry for that word, for set of self with, let me just another word again, in order not to insult all these enogis, in order not to insult enoge. When you are trying to use some enoges without self-respect, coming out in the media, press conference, when you know what is going on in this state, coming out with these people who were accused of some criminal activities when it comes to land grabbing, when it comes to invasion of other people's properties and all that. You came out with these people. But many people have been asking me this question. Who created these enoges? You see, that is another question, and I would like to answer this. Most of these enoges positions have been created for more than, I would say, 200-300 years ago or 400 years ago. It's passed from generation to generation. And most of these enogi we are seeing today, they are not directly nominated from the palace. It's hereditary. The only thing we can do is to suspend these enogis when we see the activities that is not in line with the line of the palace or the Benin traditional institution. The next thing we can do is to suspend them. And this is what has been going on. But when you as a governor come out with these people that are suspended to be forming another criminal gang, then we have to ask this question. Do you even have any respect for the Edo people? Do you even have any respect for those people who have been suffering under these enogians? That's our questions. And do you even have respect for the Edos? Before coming out, you said now you want to implement something that you didn't create. You see, there's something wrong with our people when they come out to say, "Oh, it's right, it's very right to do that." You can only be right when you are the rightful person to change all these things. That's the only way you can be right. And now I'm telling you people, you are not right. And he has no right to change these things. Even though you have the power, you don't fight because you have power. And you don't use power because you have power. You use your brain, you use your sense, and think twice to make sure you don't offend too many people. And as it is right now, so many people are offended. They are offended, and I'm offended in the way you misbehave. You see, just go to the social media today and see how the most educated, I would say the most educated Edolites are reasoning about all these things. But as for me, I have my own reason. I have my own background as a man from a traditional house who also follow the tradition of the Benin people. Grow up in a Benin traditional house who has the knowledge of the Benin traditional institution. I will tell you right now. Actually, the position of Enogi is a position of a council chairman, even less than, even more less than. Even the Ohens have more powers than the Enogis. Where the Ohens will sit in their own, I will not call it domain, in their own community, the Enogi cannot sit down there. Where the Ojon Were will sit down, the Enogi cannot sit there. You see, When we are doing all these things, we have to differentiate. We have to differentiate because every community is not created the same way the other one is created. In our own community, it is the Ohen that has to say. After the Ohen, they come the Odionwere. After the Odionwere, they come Edionene. After Edionene, then come the remaining Edion. That's if you Nate Uriodione. After that, the last Edion, they come the Okaigele. Okaigele is the oldest person among the young people, among the Igeles. The oldest is not choosing. It's not a matter of choice. It is a matter of age. Point of correction to you all. We're saying Okaigele choosing, or Nogi choosing Okaigele. No. It is not a choice. It is age. It's like the title of Odionwere. You are the oldest person. Whether you are blind, whether you are dumb, whether you are crippled, or whatsoever. When you are in that age, when you are the senior, most senior in that community, you are the Odionwere. If you cannot do that, your children or your son, the first son, will represent you, representing you everywhere you are going. The position of Okaigele is the most senior among the Igele. It's age. It's not choosing. Don't make that mistake. That is not our tradition. Everything in our tradition is made with age. You don't choose it because now people say they choose, this one we choose, this one we choose. No, it's the age. Because this is the next to the Edion. Then after the Igele, they come Ikpoluge. Ikpoluge, these are the people before in the olden days that sweep the whole village. They go to the Ogwedion, they sweep it, they clear everything. They go to any shrine that is in that village, they do it, clean it, led by the Okaigele. You see, when people are just talking today, trying to say, oh, all the Edo community, we are not created in the same way. Traditionally, there are some areas where the Enogie cannot step his foot on in the community due to the sensitivity of those areas. Or if you are a foreigner, in that, if you are not given birth in that village, you cannot step your foot into those areas. Whether you are the Enogie or you are the Odionwere, sometimes it's only the Ohen that can enter those areas. You see, there are so many things people doesn't really know about our tradition. When they are coming out, when you live in the city or Benin city, to be telling us, oh, the Odionwere or this and that. No, Odionwere is not choosing. Odionwere is age. If you are the oldest person, then Okaigele is the next to Edion, the next eldest person or the oldest person. You see, these are the things people should put into consideration before start coming up to start saying all what you don't understand about our traditional institution. Everything in our institution is done with age. It's not by choosing or you choose that. The Oba can choose Inogi and send him to a community. The Oba can choose Uhen and send it to a community. But the remaining, or don't worry, is age. The most senior person in that community. It's like the Okaigele, the same thing. So before I move on, I will always try to clear all this to our people. Because when we are talking in the social media, saying the Odionwere choose this, the Odionwere choose that, it's not by choosing. It is age. And that tradition has been existing right from the time of the Odion Weres. You cannot just start now to be coming and be changing everything. I can explain to you why we are having so much problems, why we are facing so much problems in our empire today. Because we disregard, due to some certain reason, we disregard what exactly we are supposed to be respecting. We don't respect it any longer. You know, because the Enogies, they are messengers. They are messengers. They are being sent to the community. Go and observe what is going on in that community. Observing it, if there's anything you can, if there's any issue you can settle in that community, settle it. If there's an issue you cannot settle, you bring it to the palace. The palace will settle it. But the Odion Weres, the Okagele, the Ohen, they remain in those community. In my own house, it remained in that community. Like it or not. You see, we should not be putting everything into one cup. We should always try to differentiate. Otherwise, we will always be having some problem, big problems. Because we are no longer respecting what actually gave birth to us, what made us to be the Edo people. When we say Edo Odion, there's also a reason for that, but not the reason people are now saying Edo Odion, Edo Odion. You see, in some cases, Edo Odion means in some areas where foreigners are not really allowed to go in. If you are not given birth to in that village, or if you are not related to that village, then the Edos in those villages are the most senior. It's not about kola nut, what people are trying to be imposing. It's not about that. It's more than that to even say that. Let us start respecting our tradition. Then we, as a people, then we have lesser problem. So then look at the land invasion from all this Enoge, what is really going on today. Anywhere you go in the kingdom today, in some of these kingdoms, or some of these communities, some of these Enoge are presiding over, we have seen the burning down of houses, the killing of some people because of land. You see, when it's time to sell land in those communities, there's always a problem because the Enoge will not appoint another person as Okagele. The Odion Were will come and appoint his own Okagele. How? That is not our tradition. Appointing is not our tradition. Everything is done with seniority, like it or not. You cannot appoint anybody of your choice to be Okagele. It's not politics, where you appoint commissioner, where you appoint secretaries and all that. No. It is age. Odion Were, the oldest. Okagele, the oldest close to the Edion. And before you even become Ikbolowe, you have to reach some certain age. At least the age of 12. We have to start explaining things to ourselves. Because most of these people who grew up in Benin, they thought they knew everything. I will say this. Okay, let me leave that area. But now, I have an appeal to all the Edo people in social media. Because when you start accusing so many people that they are the one making problem for the palace, I don't see it that way. I see it very differently. If we cannot defend the palace, If we cannot defend the Edo people, who are we going to be defending? Are we going to be defending the alien government that has been imposed on us since the invasion of the Benin Empire? No, because we don't really have nothing in common with all those governments, to say the fact. When this latest issue came out, it took me 3 days to 4 days to analyze these papers that was being brought up, the amendment and the implementation of all this. Then I make some calls to see the view of some of our people. And I would say this to you people. The call I made, I understand very well the position of our people. And my own position was in line with my own position. Because if you really go deep into our tradition and you understand our tradition, it's something we must protect. It's something we have to defend. Because if we cannot defend it, there's nobody who is going to defend it. If we cannot defend what belongs to us, who is going to defend it then? You cannot call on the God Almighty to defend it for you. Cannot do that. You can accuse and accuse and accuse what you think you want to accuse, and you threaten people because they stand for what they believe on. I don't believe in that. If you want to threaten me, you can threaten me. If you want to threaten the other people, you can threaten the other people. But that won't stop them or stop me from doing what I'm doing. As far as what I'm doing is in comply with the law of the land, then you can't do me anything. As far as doesn't cause civil arrest and other criminal activities in the state, then you cannot do anything. And I want to praise the Edos that are really standing out there doing things that is necessary to make sure we protect our tradition. I'm a traditionalist. Many people may call me a fundamentalist, but I'm not a fundamentalist. I believe what I believe in, and I have to protect what I love. You see, when there are so many people out there, said this before, who always come out to say, Oba Atokbe, write a full page of praise to the Oba of Benin and praising the Oba of Benin in the social media, expecting the palace to give them some chieftaincy title. And once they see, after 1 year, 2 years, there's nothing coming, you will see how they are changing. You will see how they change their mouth from day to day. And today we can see some of them, they are falling apart with their actions, with their behavior. We will always know them. I always say this, there are only few people I would like to work with, and I wish I work with, and which I respect. If I don't respect you that much, I won't work with you. That's very, very clear. So, the Beninese, they should be ready to take the fight on. If you love your culture, if you love your tradition, be ready to keep the fight. But there's a lot we have to do. There's a lot we have to do so that we don't have this mess we have been having before. We have to fight to make sure we stop the implementation of the new guidelines from the governor. And we have to make sure that we eradicate this amendment. Not even to apply it, but eradicate it. Because it doesn't show anything unity to the Benin people or in sense of security, because we can see the insecurity, the threat that is being posed to the Edo people right now. When the governor came out to say, because of security, this and that, he have worked with some of these enoges and to prevent insecurity in the state. You see, that was a complete lie. Complete lie in the sense that some of these enoge, the enoge of Ebobanusa, have not been in that community for more than 2 years. Likewise, Ogiegman, and some of them, many of them, that you see that arrogate themselves, that is collecting money from the state government for the job they are not doing. And now you are increasing their salary for the job they are not doing. That is also a shame to the governor. The governor should be ashamed of himself as an adult person, as people, the adult people fought for to say talk back. Now you have something to reward the adult people, and this is the way you are rewarding our people. I will always say this, and I said it from the beginning. I was not in support of your nomination, nor in support of voting you out here to be the governor of Edo State, because I know exactly what was coming. And now you said godfatherism was the topic of the other day, and now we are still seeing the same. Because if we want to have a clean Edo State, I think we don't have to be imposing people on Edo people or Isan people or Urobo people or any ethnic group that is, or the Isak or the Owan and the Afiema who are in the state. I think they should be given the opportunity to choose for themselves who they want to choose. And I've always said this. If I see any candidate that is really, really loyal to these people, to our people, Edo State people, whether you are Edo, Isan, or Robo, I will air my voice and support for this person. But as far as that is not happening, I cannot do anything right now. See, for me, it's not important from the language you speak, where you came from, which region you came from. As far as you are a Benin person, and I know you are a very, very good person, or you will be a good person in the future, I will support you. Because there was so many signs about Obaseki we ignore. When you carry a fight to very, very close to the palace, you and your gangs and your boys and others went as far as there. You know, you were already crossing the boundary, and people were just overlooking that. And this is what we're having. This is what we're having today. So because we ignore all the warning signs. But when some people who are so low that is expecting position, who will like to sell themselves to have the position of a secretary, to have the position of a commissioner, and be doing all sorts of nonsense against our tradition, then you will understand that in the next coming years, you are going to be having it very, very tough. You are going to be having it very, very tough with our people. We do forget sometimes, we forgive, but the future will tell us. So I want to thank everyone that is with me here right now, and I appreciate the support for the Edo people, not just for this organization, but for the Edo people as a whole. And the support you gave to the Omonoba of Benin when he arrived the Akenzua airport the other day. I would like to see this energy, that we move on with this energy to achieve a lot. We can achieve a lot if we continue with this energy. And please, we have people out there who are fighting for our sake. If we have different opinion or different view, doesn't mean we are enemies. We are not in one way or the other enemies. We are all fighting for a cause, and this cause may take a different view and different position. And we should learn to understand, bring understanding sometimes. And I've always do that. That is the reason I don't insult anybody when I'm talking, or insult these Inogies, because I always find understanding. But sometimes, because of these criminal activities, or some of them, their criminal activities, I always remove myself from all these activities because some of us are fathers, we are mothers, we are parents. Likewise, these eniges or enoges, whether we like it or not, they are still our brother, but we have to keep them distance. So thank everyone, and I appreciate. Thanks and thanks and thanks once again for the great job you did the other day. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.